Florida State big guard Scottie Barne is one of the most unique prospects in the 2021 NBA draft. Standing 6'9" and 230 pounds, Barnes made his name picking up point guards full court and displaying his defensive versatility in FSU's switch-heavy defense. But while switchable multi-position defenders can be found at different parts of the draft, what makes Barnes so unique is his advanced playmaking and court vision. Scottie isn't without his questions as a prospect, and he'll need to prove that he can knock down outside shots at the next level to truly unlock that special passing ability. But Barnes' unique skills, combined with his Noah-esque on-court passion, make him one of the most coveted prospects in the 2021 NBA draft class. Welcome to Film Sesh, presented by MyBookie, an NBA draft deep dive by Tulaba, highlighting how a prospect might make an impact when they step onto an NBA floor. Having basically been the de facto point guard at Florida State, Scottie Barne's offensive film is highlighted by his advanced playmaking ability. At 6'9", Barnes, much like the new age group of jumbo creators, has shown the ability to initiate offense for his squad in a variety of ways. Despite an iffy jumper, Barnes looked poised and controlled in pick-and-roll situations. Here we see a drop situation where the guard going over the screen. Barnes uses his size and strength to brush off the guard defender and keep him on his back and walk right into his spot and softly hit the roll man. There's nothing fancy in these pick-and-roll possessions, just a great display of timing and touch when hitting the lob target. That's rare from a 19-year-old prospect at Scottie's size. But what is so impressive about Barnes' pick-and-roll game is that he understands the nuance of the passes and who to hit based on how the defense defends them. Watch here as Scottie comes off the side ball screen. Two go to the ball, leaving the strong corner to tag the roll. As that defender goes to the tag, the corner shooter lifts to the wing for an open, uncontested shot off the Barnes feed. Again, it doesn't look fancy, but it's not panicking when pressured by two and having the vision to know where the open man is. Next read from Barnes comes off another high ball screen, allowing Barnes to get downhill. The guard gets back into the play, but Scottie's able to use his size to bump him off and make a sweet, mid-air, improvisational kick out to the weak side corner. These are the reads Scottie consistently showed the ability to make that are so fun. There's only a handful of guys in this class that can make these cross-court hits on the move. That height and length, it just affords him targets that smaller guards generally have a tough time making. And as a 69% finisher near the hoop, the defense has to collapse on these downhill drives, leading to these ridiculous kickouts perfectly placed to his teammates. And you see how guys bounce off him when he has a head of steam. A lot of these missed bunnies are assists at the next level. And what better way to get that head of steam than pushing the pace in transition, where the extra space makes Scottie's passing all the more deadly. This is point guard 101 against Carolina. Scottie takes the ball up the floor, eyes up the whole time. He then absolutely bamboozles the defense by looking at the corner shooter and then firing a no-look laser to the rim runner, capping off one of the best passes of his freshman season. Scottie has feathery touch and is a playmaking threat with the ball in his hands or when he's filling the lanes. Not many guys with his size that are making these hit-aheads in this class. The passing and vision is the encapsulation of the unselfish nature and winning attributes that Scottie brings to a team. But Scottie isn't just a passer in transition. This is the area where Barnes can get himself offense the easiest. Scottie has long strides and great length and runs the floor like a gazelle. He is a good, if uncreative, ball handler, but the extra space that transition opportunities allow give him more chances to attack holes in the defense. And oh yeah, this was a tough finish in the clutch to send the game to overtime. Scottie again shows off that strength, getting downhill, going full steam right into and at the chest of the defender. And look at those soft receiving hands. Beats everyone down the floor, makes the catch in stride, and then hits you with the razzle-dazzle flush. And if Scottie can knock down this shot consistently, you're looking at a whole different tier of prospect. The problem was that Scottie didn't knock these down with consistency down in Tallahassee. Scottie shot just 28% from deep this season, and they were mostly on catch-and-shoot looks. The misses were inconsistent, and help defenders were willing to help deep away from Barnes on dribble penetration. Carolina completely sells out here. In the NBA, teams don't help this much out of the strong corner, but UNC basically ignores Barnes completely here on the drive. And at times, Scottie was hesitant to shoot them. Barnes is not a defender in sight here and instead decides to drive into the defense. He gets fouled, but if Gobert's waiting at the rim, it might not be the best decision at the next level. And Barnes' free throw shooting didn't ease your mind on the shooting issues much as he hit on just 62%. But, with that said, I'm about as bullish on Scottie turning himself into an adequate shooter as you could be for someone with those splits. The form isn't awful, he gets good arc and has soft touch. It's a little mechanical right now, and Barnes won't ever be an off-the-bounce shooting threat, but all he needs to do is be a threat off the catch to open up his strengths. Teams will definitely dare him to shoot, and there will certainly be some growing pains, but I'd bet on Barnes to improve it long term. And he'll need to get it there if he's going to score at all with the ball in his hands. NBA teams will give him cushion and meet him closer to the basket in the way that they do Ben Simmons. But Barnes doesn't have the same vertical pop or ambidexterity that Ben does, so he can get a little awkward in self-creation scenarios. Scottie doesn't have the ball handling creativity to kinda improvise and fool the defense, so he'll often bury himself in awkward spots. And if teams can weak him to his left hand, he can get himself into some trouble. But when Scottie can get downhill going right, he's able to use that strength to bully his way to the rim. And if you don't send help and Scottie can turn over his left shoulder, he's got good touch on these little baby hooks. But Barnes won't be given a whole lot of ISO opportunities early on in his career. But if a team makes use of his passing, he'll get some pick and roll opportunities. And with so many teams playing in drop at the next level, Scottie can find himself getting downhill with that head of steam. But he has to attack the cup in those situations, because teams will be more than willing to give up these little mid-range floaters. And it's kind of a go-to look for Barnes. And while Scottie playing with his back to the basket could open up interesting passing opportunities, he needs to be efficient enough as a scorer in these post-up situations to actually force NBA teams to send a double at him. With baseball in full swing and the NBA playoffs off to a hot start, you can make each and every series matter by having a stake in the game with mybookie.ag. Regardless of whether you're betting favorites or underdogs, player prop bets, or just looking to make some cash, MyBookie gives you tons of options to make all your favorite matches a hell of a lot more exciting. And if you're looking to bet for the first time but don't know what to bet on, I'm here to help point you in the right direction. I'm really digging some NBA championship odd bets right now. Maybe it's going to be Suns in 4 for the chip at plus 250, or can Atlanta do the impossible with the NBA as wide open as ever with a tasty plus 3,000? Go to mybookie.ag, sign up now, and use the promo code Hardwood to get your first deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. Let them know I sent you, so use our promo code HARDWOOD to get that free deposit bonus and start your day off with a win. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. On the offensive end, it's Barnes' passing that makes him so unique, but on the defensive end, it's his versatility and ability to guard multiple positions that makes him such an intriguing NBA prospect. And I'm not sure there's a single possession better than this sequence to encapsulate that point. Scottie starts out guarding the point guard, gets hit with a screen, and calls out the switch. He meets the ball handler on the screen and switches again on the DHO and bottles up the ball handler, and then runs out and blocks the shot on the contest. That is Scottie Barnes' defense. Now, Barnes at his size seems like the perfect modern NBA wing defender, but he constantly harassed point guards full court. Meeting point guards full court, forcing them to struggle to get in their set and burn clock was a common occurrence for Barnes and FSU's defense. Here against Wake Forest, Barnes forces the offense to burn almost half the shot clock before they get to their first pass in their set, all just from being engaged and giving effort. But Barnes is big and long enough to stonewall wings as well, as he does here and as he'll be tasked to do at the next level, where he'll line up with the Kawhi and Jimmy Butlers of the world. Now, I mentioned Barnes' quick hands earlier, and they're on full display here against Louisville. Scottie's length and anticipation makes Barnes a potentially elite pickpocket at the next level. Barnes may not be the quickest guy in the draft, but those physical attributes and his intuition when guarding straight up is going to allow him to play a multitude of defensive lineups for whatever team lands him. And you see that lineup versatility here against Scottie's former teammate and potential first rounder 6'11" Day'Ron Sharpe. Barnes' strength and length is on full display, getting off a great contest on the baby hook. The fact that Barnes can go from guarding point guards to centers shows off how valuable he is on the defensive end. And Florida State made sure to get full use of Scottie's switchability by switching everything. Scottie starts out off ball here and comes up with the guard on the ball screen. He quickly switches off onto Sharp, quickly points to the next switch, follow his man on the handoff, and now North Carolina has a short shot clock and ends up throwing away the ball. This next clip is simple, but it shows off Scottie's length on the dig. With both his man and Barnes reaching in, the guard gets discombobulated and throws up a junk floater at the rim. Scottie is just everywhere when he's completely locked in. He goes from guarding his man full court, to helping in the paint on the drive off ball, to closing out, maybe a little bit too hard, on the kick, to recovering and helping with the dig, and then this time getting to a cleaner closeout, ultimately leading to a tough fall-away floater in the midst of 4 defenders. And due again to that crazy wingspan, you see how much ground Barnes covers when he contests jump shots. Full extension, just putting pressure on the shooter. We mentioned those active hands on ball, but Barnes keeps them active in the passing lanes as well, constantly getting deflections or steals off ball. Now, there are times where Barnes gets a little too face guardy off ball. Scottie's one pass away here and just kind of loses focus on the switch, forcing his teammate to leave his spot under the hoop to push him to the shooter and leaving an open lane on the drive. Another face guardy moment for Barnes out on the perimeter, allowing a clean backdoor cut where Barnes gets bailed out by Gray's help side defense. One more example of Barnes losing his man on the face guard. A little lack of communication, but he loses sight of the switch for a split second, allowing the shooter to get the time he needs to get off a clean look. Another concern one might have with Scottie potentially being a 5-position defender is his lack of shot blocking. Barnes much prefers to wall up rather than go for blocks, but there are possessions where he'd rather make a business decision than go for the contest. And then there are times where he just doesn't really even try to contest the kind of shots you'd want a potential small ball 5 defender to go after. And while Barnes spent some time out on the perimeter, he has the same kind of issues on the glass. The low rebounding and block numbers aren't an anomaly. But these are things that will get worked out at the next level, and there's no questioning the effort level that Scottie Barnes plays with. Barnes' passion on the floor is reminiscent of Joakim Noah. There's going to be a whole lot of visceral screaming ahead for Barnes. Scottie certainly has areas to improve upon, but all that means is there's so much untapped potential to unlock. Barnes has an it factor about him. You'll love him when he's on your team, and you'll hate him when he's playing your team. Scottie Barnes may not have the superstar upside of his former teammate Cade Cunningham, but he'll get the most out of whatever potential is boiling underneath the surface. And those are the types of talents you should bet everything on.